I never imagined that an ordinary morning in my tiny bakery would become the moment my life came to an end, or perhaps, the moment it truly began. That day, I had just finished my third batch of croissants when my body started to feel unusually heavy. Not the usual kind of tiredness. Any baker used to waking at 3 a.m. knows that well. No, this was different. It felt like something inside me had been drained. My energy, my spirit, my will to live. I was no stranger to exhaustion, but that morning even breathing felt like a burden. Stepping out back behind the bakery for some fresh air, I felt a wave of dizziness hit me like a brick. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead despite the chill in the December air. I leaned against the old brick wall, trying to steady myself. "Don't pass out," I whispered. "Just don't pass out." But everything went dark. I came to, not in my body but outside of it. I saw myself slumped beside a trash bin, surrounded by cardboard pastry boxes I hadn't yet thrown out. A part of me panicked, but oddly the rest felt calm. Like I'd been here before. And I had, when I was 6 years old. But before I tell you about where I went, I think you need to understand who I am, or rather, who I was. My name is Amanda. I'm 33 years old and live in a quiet suburb outside Louisville, Kentucky, where I run a small bakery called Warmth and Brown Sugar. If you met me today, you might think I'm bubbly, optimistic, full of life, and to a degree you'd be right. But you'd never guess how hard I had to fight just to smile. I grew up poor, with an alcoholic father and a bipolar stepmom. Both wrestled with their own mental illnesses that no one ever talked about. There was no God in our house, no bedtime prayers or whispered blessings. The only concept of heaven I ever heard came from the occasional echoes of church bells down the block. For me, death meant lights out. Just nothingness. The constant ache in my chest that followed me everywhere. I thought that was just part of being human. I didn't know I was living with PTSD, or depression, or anxiety. I didn't even have the vocabulary to describe the way I felt. I just knew life hurt, and I learned to hide it. I hid it so well that even I sometimes forgot it was there. It was late 2009. I was a junior in high school, and our class was headed to a recreation center to take the ACT. I woke up that morning with a hollow feeling so deep, I couldn't even muster the energy to pretend anymore. My eyes in the mirror looked dead. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I just gave up. On the bus ride over, I began feeling lightheaded, nauseated, drenched in cold sweat. The girl sitting next to me glanced over and said I looked pale. Sunken eyes, color drained from my face. I nodded but said nothing. As soon as we pulled up, I bolted for the bathroom. I didn't want help. I didn't want saving. I just wanted to disappear. I picked the largest stall, locked the door, and collapsed onto the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. I saw myself lying there. It was surreal. My physical body curled up on the cold bathroom floor, but I was floating above it. I couldn't feel my limbs. No chest pain, no heartbeat, no weight. Just lightness. Like I'd slipped out of a suit that had always been too tight. And then I felt it. A pull. Like reality itself was peeling away and I was being drawn into something else. Something vast and beautiful. I was moving through a tunnel. Not a physical one, but a space filled with shimmering light and colors I had no name for. They moved around and through me. I wasn't afraid. I was captivated. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a space unlike anything on earth. There were no walls, no floor, no ceiling. Just light, blinding, brilliant, pure white light that surrounded and filled everything. And the overwhelming feeling that I was safe. Peace. Completely loved. I looked down and realized I had a form. A sort of shimmering silhouette made of pale energy. Not flesh but light. And then they appeared. Figures made of pure iridescent light, taller, brighter, more radiant than I was. They didn't speak, but I could feel what they were saying, as if they were uploading their thoughts directly into me. There was no judgment, only deep, powerful understanding. One of them beckoned me toward a circle of glowing doors. Each door, when opened, brought me to a memory. Scenes from my life that had been buried in trauma. The moments I'd tried so hard to forget. Hiding under the kitchen table at age 6 while my father raged through the house. Bleeding from my nose at 13 after my stepmom slapped me across the face. Sprinting down an alley at 16, fleeing from a man who meant me harm. But this time I saw them differently, because now I could see the light. Each scene revealed glowing threads. These beings had always been there. I hadn't been alone. Ever. Even in my darkest, most terrifying moments, I was being guided, protected. One memory stood out. I was running, heart pounding, when something invisible slammed into me like a wall. I stopped dead in my tracks. A voice in my head screamed, "Stop!" A gunshot rang out. A bullet flew past me in slow motion, piercing the truck behind me. It would have hit me if I'd taken even one more step. Now, watching from this higher plane, I saw it clearly. A beam of light had risen in front of me, stopping me at the exact right second. I had always believed I was alone, that no one was looking out for me. I was wrong. Back in the brilliant white space, I felt surrounded by love, more love than I had ever known. The beings of light gently helped me see the truth. My past didn't define me. The pain I carried wasn't my fault. And even in my suffering, I was never forgotten. I was loved. I asked, "But how can I ever be a light to others when I've been so broken inside?" They didn't answer in words. Instead, they took me somewhere new. I found myself standing in an endless meadow of wildflowers and ancient trees. A soft wind moved through the landscape like a symphony, causing the petals, leaves, and grass to sway as if the earth itself was breathing. Down the center of the field ran a winding river, not of water but of radiant, iridescent light. It glowed with warmth and flowed like a living current. I stepped into the stream. The moment I did, I felt everything, every pain, every scar, every ounce of heaviness wash away. The light poured through me, over me, around me. It was like floating on a summer day wrapped in peace. And then the sparkling surface of the stream faded, replaced by the harsh flicker of fluorescent lights. I was back in the bathroom stall. Lying on the floor, I felt the weight of my body again. But something was different. The crushing chest pain was gone. So was the despair. My body still felt small, but my soul, it had expanded. Today I am Amanda, the baker who died and lived to tell the story. I still wake up at 3 a.m. every morning. I still knead dough, mix sugar, and bake pastries for the people in my neighborhood. But now, every loaf I bake, every muffin I wrap, is infused with something deeper. Love, light, purpose. I no longer see life as punishment. It's a sacred journey. One that continues after the body gives out. One where we're never truly alone. I died once, and it taught me how to live.